I always had a burning desire to change my life, change my circumstances, change the trajectory which I was on. Every single night I would go to bed and I'd lie there and I'd think, fuck, it happened again. Today I was supposed to do this, and I didn't. But it always felt like I had an invisible rubber band just constantly pulling me back. And it was only at the end of the day where I reflected upon this, where I started to fucking hate myself for it. And for the longest time, I didn't know what this invisible rubber band was. Why do I keep falling back into my bad habits? Why do I keep breaking the promises to myself? And this is when a brutal truth was presented to me. I was in a call with my client at the time. I was video editing for Hamza Ahmed, who just so happens to be the biggest male self-improvement YouTuber in the space. And I was talking to him about this, and that's when he told me, well, Sam, you are just a product of your environment. Who are you spending your time with every day, Sam? And the answer was with my friends in a Discord call who would sit, they would play video games, they would banter and talk about things which ultimately had no weight in life. Drama, world events. It was either those guys or friends who I would go out and just do drugs with. Frankly, we would go to music events and we would do a bunch of drugs. Your friends are holding you back. That's the truth that you need to hear. It's the truth that was delivered to me. And for a long time, I wasn't ready to accept it. For the longest time, I held on to the fleeting feeling of, well, if I just continue doing what I'm doing, then they will follow suit. And it wasn't the case. And in fact, being around these people just made what I wanted to do so much harder, almost impossible. There's another layer to this brutal truth, and that is that the people you keep around, they subconsciously want you to stay the same because outgrowing them would make them severely uncomfortable. This is especially a case for friendships which are spawned from sharing bad habits. The best friendships which last over time are ones which are forged through sacrifice. These are the types of friends who actually root for you and they consistently challenge you. I didn't have these friends for most of my life. I had friends who would laugh behind my back when I told them that I wanted to build a business. I had friends who would spend all of their mental bandwidth on things which gave them no return on their energy. I had friends who would seek comfort rather than purpose and progress. And it's only that comfort, it's their willingness to continue exposing themselves to things which distract them from the fact that they're not actually fucking fulfilled, which keeps them trapped in the cycle that they're in. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably have that same burning desire I had when I went to bed and I was furious at the fact that I had once again let myself down. I had once again broke promises to myself. I said I wanted to change. I said I wanted to do something different, but I've relapsed once again. It keeps happening. Like a rubber band, I snap back into line, into the NPC life path. And it was like that for 9 months. Even after I received the advice from my friend Hamza, for 9 months, I thought, I can make this work. I can fight against nature itself. And then one day, my agitation got too much, and I decided to just do something radical. I decided to leave the Discord server. I decided to stop going to the drum and bass raves and doing drugs. And for a long time, I felt horribly lonely. I was mocked for not doing what everyone else was doing. I was mocked for separating myself. Oh, big shot Sam. He's too cool to hang out with us. He's building his business. And it was so painful. Some of the most painful months of my life. But the truth is, I was so much better off being alone, cripplingly alone, than hanging out with people who never challenged me, who never pushed me forward. I had to first sacrifice the comfort of those friend groups before I could find and create my own tribe. And if you want to do the same, it's behind that level of sacrifice. Hanging around people who don't ever challenge you should terrify you. Giving any mental bandwidth to people like that should terrify you. Because if you want to change your life, you need every ounce of energy you have. You and me, we were not born into a family which is all set up for life, got all the money, they've got all the life lessons passed down to you. If you're anything like me, you have been thrown into this chaotic, mess of a world with very little guidance. As a man, you've been sold the wrong blueprints for your entire life. And I promise you to undo the conditioning that Western societies put upon you, your teachers, your government, the way that you see the world, the way that you think things should go. It's going to take everything you have. And if there's parts of your life and parts of your environment which isn't serving that purpose, you're probably going to lose. You probably will end up in that pub at 40 years old, sinking pints, watching football, with a mediocre job, with shitty friends who banter each other, with a woman who doesn't respect you, with no freedom to do what you want, when you want, work with who you want, travel where you want, because that's how most people end up. That should terrify you. Whether you like it or not, your friends, consciously or subconsciously, shape your standards. Consciously when they say, Sam, come on Rocket League. Sam, come out to the club. Sam, don't work on your business, that's gay, go get a job. And subconsciously, by the standards that they hold for themselves. If everyone around you is holding themselves to a super low standard, you as a competitive red-blooded man aren't going to have that hard of a time competing with them. Suddenly, if you dropped yourself into a room of millionaires who would only talk about making money, building purposeful businesses, and cultivating incredible relationships with friends, women, you would feel so deeply uncomfortable with who you are, how you carry yourself, that you would have no choice other than to level up. And that's the position that I continually put myself into. And that's why I continually grow. That's why I find that the aspect of freedom towards your self-development journey is so important. The ability to get on a flight and get the fuck out of wherever you're from, your hometown. Meet new entrepreneurs, exciting people, people who have lessons to teach you, people who make you a little bit uncomfortable. Meet beautiful women who aren't psyoped into following the male blueprint to fulfillment. Because if you don't have that level of freedom, you're stuck in an old environment with old habits, old friends, and you're constantly going to be swimming upstream. You're in a circle of people who don't challenge you, don't push you. And it's not like you're choosing it. You're not choosing to be mediocre, but you're just absorbing it. You can't help it. Your entire worldview and your subconscious interactions is based around absolute mediocrity and comfort. It's okay that I have an unfulfilling, underpaid job because, well, when I get home, I can hit my vape and play Grand Theft Auto 6 and it's fine. And then on the weekend, I get to go out and do ketamine. What if you just decided that wasn't okay? That your standards are so much higher? That's probably the choice that you make every single day. And that's why you go to bed so fucking agitated, because you keep failing yourself, because you have no standards and the people around you have no standards for you. You're in a losing war. And the only way to change the tides is by a radical shift in your environment, letting go of the old and building the new, killing the boy and letting the man be born. I didn't know what real friendship was until I was about 22, 23 years old. Real friends, masculine friends, they will call you out. They will make you fucking uncomfortable. They will challenge you consistently. When I don't have people around me who are challenging me consistently, I'm actually miserable because I've programmed my brain to love progress. And you probably love progress yourself. You're just progressing in the wrong things consistently. Real friends hold you to a standard even when you're slacking. Real friends hold themselves to a high standard so that you are more likely to oblige. The difference, summarized, is very simple. Fake friends will lie to you and they will let you lie to yourself, and real friends don't. If you was to sit down and do an autistic audit on your friends, how many of them, honest to God, if you had no ego, if you had no attachment, you were just using pure rational male logic, how many of them would actually check the boxes for being a real good friend? I'll tell you now, I had two actually. I had my friend Yanis, who pushed me to begin my video editing freelancing business, which has ultimately landed me into the position I'm in now. And I had Hamza, who played a monumental part in my own developmental journey. And obviously, he was my biggest client, and we scaled his YouTube channel to over 2 million subscribers over the span of 2 years. This is what real friends do. I've only gotten better from my relationships with those two friends. I was only able to harness the experience, really, from being friends with these two people once I let go of the old though. Once I stopped being rubber banded back to square one. Once I accepted the fact that fuck it, it's going to be lonely for a while. It is a lonely path. Building a business, doing something different, doing something fulfilling, stepping away from the bad habits. And that's when I started to actually attract more of the type of people who I actually really wanted to mix with, because all of this energy is subconscious. I don't think a lot of people realize just how important the environment factor is and how much of a product of our environment we all are. You need to create your environment for masculine excellence, for men who are pushing for the same as you. I've built my tribe. It took me years upon years of sacrifice and effort to do that. But my God, it's such an insane difference being in a positive feedback loop with the people you hang out with who continually make you uncomfortable, continually push you forward, rather than on the flip side, when you're on a negative feedback loop and your life is just continuing to get worse and worse and worse, and you go to bed every single night just fucking furious that you've once again let yourself down. Your circle is either speeding up your pursuit of freedom, or it's significantly slowing it down or putting it to a total halt. So if you've been waiting for permission, you're watching this video for a reason, okay? I give you permission. You have to cut the anchor, no matter how painful it may be. It was painful for me, horribly painful. And I don't even hold anything personal against any of these people. In fact, I really wish them the best. And I really hope that they too figure this stuff out. But you can't begin to change your life until you change your environment and your vibrational state. And there's nothing more low vibrational than hanging around people who constantly distract themselves and constantly talk shit about each other and constantly don't hold themselves or anyone else to any sort of high standard. The right people you want to mix with, they're out there, but they won't mix with you until you make this shift in your mind. This genuine shift, this genuine sacrifice. You have to choose. Choose the comfort, the familiarity of your current situation, your friend groups, your circles, or the new path towards a lifestyle of freedom, mixing with entrepreneurs who you look up to, who you respect, mixing with beautiful women who are genuinely feminine, aren't psyoped, who respect you. It's a choice, but that choice starts with first letting go of the old. And I said it once and I'll say it again. Kill the boy and let the man be born. If you want to walk the exact same pathway which I took towards my lifestyle of financial location and creative freedom, and you also want to enter a network of over 600 people who are fighting in the trenches just like you, who are like-minded, who are actually pushing for more, you can join my Academy of Excellence. Start mixing with men who either have what you want or are fighting towards what you want, and watch how much of an insane change that makes to your life immediately. The Academy of Excellence will teach you from going from a total beginner video editor into an advanced business savvy video editor making upwards of 10K per month from their laptop. This is a skill which completely changed the game to me. I started to become valuable to highly influential businessmen. I started to have a shift in my self-image when I started to put out purposeful work, which was actually making a positive impact on people. And I genuinely started to become valuable to the marketplace and valuable to myself. The Academy of Excellence makes this easier than ever, with a tailored roadmap which takes you from total beginner to video editing, James Bond, Chad. If that sounds interesting to you and you want to begin your pursuit of freedom, go ahead and check out the first link in the description right now. I'm rooting for you. Take care.